For having me.
Please come back again.
Definitely.
We're going to take you to the floor of the House of Representatives for morning business and a series of votes, but a lot of the action also in the Senate. Live coverage on C-SPAN 2 as the senators voting on H.R. 1, the Republican budget plan, and a Democratic alternative, all here on the C-SPAN networks. Have a good day.
The House will be in order. The chair lays before the House a communication from the Speaker.
The Speaker's Rooms, Washington, D.C., March 9, 2011. I hereby appoint the Honorable Virginia Foxx to act as Speaker pro tempore on this day. Signed, John A. Boehner, Speaker of the House of Representatives.
The prayer will be offered by our chaplain, Coughlin.
Of late, signs of spring speak of new life, O Lord. May the first gasps of freedom stabilize the earth with fresh beauty. May heroic hearts of leadership the world over burst forth with psalms of thanksgiving for your saving grace and goodness. Hopefully, Lord, our spring fasting and renewal in prayer will peel away illusions for the nation and personal self-deception. May rage, violence, and anger be drowned out by gentle rains. As with common endeavor, we work for the uprooting of weeds and the planting of new seeds. Let destructive forces be silenced by constructive ideas and collaborative efforts. By your Spirit, Lord, renew the face of the earth. Amen.
Amen. The chair has examined the journal of the last day's proceeding and announces to the House her approval thereof. Pursuant to Clause 1 of Rule 1, the journal stands approved. For what purpose does the gentleman from Arkansas arise?
Madam Speaker, pursuant to Clause 1, Rule 1, respectfully, I request a vote on agreeing to the Speaker's approval of the journal.
The question is on agreeing to the Speaker's approval of the journal. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. The ayes have it. The journal stands approved. For what purpose does the gentleman from Arkansas seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, I object to the vote on the grounds that a quorum is not present and make the point of order that a quorum is not present.
Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, further proceedings on this question are postponed. Pledge of Allegiance will be led by the gentleman from Arkansas, Mr. Womack.
Would you please join me as we salute the flag of the United States? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The chair will receive a message.
Madam Speaker, a message from the Senate.
Madam Speaker,
Madam Secretary.
I have been directed by the Senate to inform the House that the Senate has passed S-23 to amend Title 35 United States Code to provide for patent reform, in which the concurrence of the House is requested.
After consultation among the Speaker and the majority and minority leaders, and with their consent, the chair announces that when the two houses meet in joint meeting to hear an address by the Honourable Julia Gillard, Prime Minister of Australia, only the doors immediately opposite the Speaker and those immediately to his left and right will be open. No one will be allowed on the floor of the House who does not have the privilege of the floor of the House. Due to the large attendance that is anticipated, the rule regarding the privilege of the floor must be strictly enforced. Children of members will not be permitted on the floor. The cooperation of all members is requested. The practice of reserving seats prior to the joint meeting by placard will not be allowed. Members may reserve their seats by physical presence only following the security sweep of the chamber. Pursuant to the order of the House of Monday, February 28, 2011, the House stands in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
The House is recessed so the chamber can be prepared for the address.